Glimpse of a fading moon in the dawning sky. Part 3. "O Rory, we are honored to have you grace us with your presence this morning," the woman in the middle addressed him. Though short and slight of frame, her sharp brown eyes and air of authority made her seem as tall as the two women who flanked her on either side and stood a head taller. The man nodded politely, tucking his hands into the sleeves of his robe. A meeting with the Roreaye, whether by organized design or with human purpose, is always a pleasure. The short woman indicated the table. "Let us sit and discuss what human purpose has brought you here, for surely you did not find yourself in the Maiden's compound by providential whims." The man shook his head. "I shall simply thank you for your gracious reception, Aye Adewemimo, and remain standing. This matter must not be further forestalled by formalities." "As you wish," Aye Adewemimo nodded. "Tell us, Orori, what is this matter with which you seek our assistance?" said one of the other Roreaye, a gangly woman with deep-set eyes. "Honored maidens," the man unfolded a hand from his robe, reaching to his side to gently guide Emeravwe forward. "It is she." The Roreaye looked upon the child, who had large, fearful gray eyes. She was 6 years of age and dressed in a yellow blouse and skirt. Around her was draped an outer robe of sheer yellow cotton with floral trimmings. On her head was a headscarf to match. The band of the headscarf rested at her hairline, revealing the large red ruby embedded in her forehead. "Her name is Emeravwe. I have come to implore you to receive her into training to become a palace maiden," the man informed the Roreaye. The Roreaye looked curiously to one another, then to the man. "But Orori," the gangly woman protested, eyeing Emeravwe's forehead, "the child is bejeweled." "You are aware that the foreheads of palace maidens and eunuchs must be unadorned," said Aye Adewemimo. "It is a circumstance I hope you can overlook," the man pleaded, looking from one Roreaye to the next. "She is the daughter of an acquaintance of mine who recently became impoverished. He took great pains to ask this favor of me. Now I humbly ask the same of you." This gave Aye Adewemimo pause, and concern darkened her features. "An impoverished acquaintance? Might I ask whom?" The man answered steadily, "Indeed you might, but I am not at liberty to reveal his identity. Let it be sufficient that I, personally, am making this request." Aye Adewemimo's brow knit as she looked warily from the man to Emeravwe. Her voice was skeptical and a bit hesitant when she said, "Surely he had naught to do with the recent incident." The other two women faced her with alarm. The man lifted his chin, his voice cold with reproach. "That is a matter whose utterance has been forbidden. Do you doubt I would break the law by harboring the daughter of renegades?" Emeravwe shrank, startled by his harsh tone. Aye Adewemimo lowered her head penitently, the other two Aye following suit. "Please be at peace, Orori," she appealed. "I simply sought to exercise caution in these troubled times. It was not my intention to offend you." There was silence as the Roreaye awaited the man's response. He replied smoothly, "You are excused." When the Roreaye raised their heads, he continued mildly, "Rest assured, honored maidens, I would jeopardize neither your positions nor my own with so treacherous an act. I come to you simply with this humble request." He placed a hand on Emeravwe's shoulder, drawing her again from her hiding place in his robes. The Roreaye settled scrutinizing eyes on her, their gazes betraying still hints of reluctance. "As you can see," the man began, indicating the ruby in Emeravwe's forehead, "she is of noble birth and is thus worthy to serve as a palace maiden. I expect no further partiality beyond that you accept her into the palace's service, and I shall not meddle in the affairs of the maidens beyond this. As the Roreaye, it is, of course, your right to decide who shall and shall not be accepted into the sun's court." Yet, his tone deepened, infusing the air with an aura of superiority, his voice resounding with authority. "We must not neglect the fact that the sun which reigned hitherto has set, and a new sun has risen in the skies of Zen." He looked intently at each woman. "And I assure you, this sun promises to shine for many years to come." Thank you for joining me for this reading. If you enjoyed the story so far, become a supporter by joining me on Patreon. You can gain early access to each new audio chapter, as well as get written chapters to read along. You can find me at patreon.com/oroje. Also, be sure to press the subscribe button for more content from this channel. See you at the next chapter.